So today we are going to see about the OOPS, can say the OOPS with the C sharp. How the OOPS concept can be utilized with the C sharp language. So let me just take it to the full screen. Let me on the chat box as well. Okay. I know today's lecture would be a little bit, I cannot say the boring, but little bit be repetitive for you because the Java in Java as well. You all have learned about the OOPS and all, but unfortunately this is a part of your curriculum, so we need to go through all these things. But we will try to see as much practical as possible. So I will just go with the overview of the OOPS. That OOPS is actually a programming concept, or can say a programming structure, where the entire program, or can say the entire code is segmented into the classes and their objects. Or the professional, or can say the actual definition of the OOPS is about the creating objects that contain both data and methods. There are many definitions you will find out in your books as well as in the websites, in the so many places. But in normal terms, you can consider it as a concept. Oops is one of the concept where the programming structure has been designed, or it is recommended to follow. Okay, so let me move further towards the next one. Now, what are the advantages of OOPS? First and foremost, it is faster and easier to execute. I have no doubt in this advantage, that this is a really faster one and the easier one to execute, and even to implement as well. Then it provides a clear structure for the programs, that where you want to use the which OOP feature you want to use. It provides you that kind of a clear structure where you want to go with the abstraction, encapsulation, or inheritance. There's all the things, you will get a clear structure when you are designing your application. All these things mainly you may not experience these days, because you are not working on a large scale application as of now. But if you go, whenever you will proceed in your career, and undoubtedly you will go to work in the large scale projects as well, there you will find out all these things are being using. Then again, the OOP makes the code easier to maintain, as well as you can modify and debug easily. Well, this debug is same in the javascript as well, and that again depends on how you have written the code. But yes, if you have followed all the OOPS concepts while writing your code, then it is really easy to track down that where the project is giving any problem, or where you need to make any kind of implementation or changes as per the time requires. Then this is my favorite one. The next feature is, or can say next advantage is my favorite one. Create a full reusable application with less code and shorter development time. I can show you that in the real life. This is the three functions that I created yesterday. This one was mine, which I used for my to calculate my age. Then this was the Somya's solution, which I have stored. Then this is Ranjita's solution. So now these are the reusable for me. I can reuse them as many times as I needed, and as many pages, or can say as many applications I created, I can reuse these functions if I want, functions and methods. So this is one of my favorite one, and less coding. Now in the next time, if I want to use the calculate one, that I need to write just this much only. calculate my age. Okay, date time dot today. Date time dot now. Now it's simple. Now it will be just a one line code for me, because the all the 10-15 lines I have written in the another function. Yeah. Yeah, the last one helps to keep the C# code dry. Dry means don't repeat yourself. So dry is actually a principle here. Is again a principle inside the OOPS principle, or can say inside the OOPS, that it's about to reducing the repetition of code. As I shown you here, that I don't need to repeat these codes again and again. I should not use this Soumya's solution and Ranjita's solution anymore, because what I am doing, that I am taking any birth date. If I just need to pass any birth date into my solution, and then it will give me the count, while the Soumya's solution is limited up to her birthday only. Same about the Ranjita's one. See, it can take only one date of birth at a time, but my function can tackle the any birth date at days -4. See, I can get the age of 4 days before as well. So by this way, it is recommend you to use the dry concepts as much as possible, and all these things we will see in our training. So no need to worry about that. As of now, you guys just understand the concepts. Okay. As it is written here, that you should extract out the codes that are common for the application and place them at a single place and reuse them instead of repeating it. So as what I did here, I have keep all the solutions at a single place, and then I'm reusing it into my program.cs. So similarly, when you go for a project or a bigger application and something, you are recommended to do such things. Any question up to here? So then move it to the class. So class is nothing else than a container, or can say a class is a place where you can write a set of instructions, set of code, or in our or you can say in our professional language, in Microsoft language, programming statements. So class is a container that contains a set of programming statements. In other words, it can be called as a blueprint of an object that contains a variable for storing data and functions. Now I believe that this is a too much professional language, or can say too much professional definition that this one will be. So let's get back to this one. Here the class is, you can understand this is a class. I am having some set of instructions. I have 3 functions here, 1 function and 2 methods here. Inside this as well, I have few set of instructions as well. Like here I have some function, here I have some instructions, and this as well I have some instructions or some data as well. So the collection of data, memory, data and code, or can say and functions and methods is known as a class. No matter what, whichever language you work on, whether it's Java, C#, VB, Ruby, anything, you have to go with the class only. You have to work with the class only. no matter whichever language you work. Even the client side languages like Angular, uh, um, React.js, anything. All these things contains class files. Okay. Now let's come back. A class will not occupy any memory space. Hence, it's a logical representation of data. It doesn't contains any memory space, means it doesn't take anything in the stack or heap, but it is a logical representation. In this case, this logic class is a representation of this class, or can say this function that what I have created, and it is reflecting or can say representing the final output, or can say the behind operations whatever I have written inside it. Then the object, a representation of a class by a variable name is known as an object, or can say instance of a class. If I can write a class like this way, I hope it will allow me. In this case, this A is the object of my class. To work with the data represented by the class, you must need to create a variable that is called an object. Same thing what I have spoken earlier. Then after, this is the new thing. This is the thing that you need to learn. When an object is created using the new operator. Now this is the new operator actually. This is a keyword is known as a operator, or can say one keyword that initialize the new things. So when an object created with the new operator, memory is allocated for the class in the heap memory. Then the object is called an instance. Like this here, A is known as an instance. And then its starting address will be stored in the object in the stack memory. Unfortunately, I can't show you the stack memory or heap memory. But these are the data structure concepts that you need to understand, that if you use the new operator, or in future you will see the override operator as well. So where the data stored. Okay. Now access modifiers or access specifiers, both are the same. So you guys may have, some of you were asking about me about the public, protected, private, all these things on, I guess, one of very first lecture. So these kinds of things are known as a access modifier, or can say that decide the accessibility of your class, or your fields, or can say your variables or member. Ha, let me one thing I need to clear one here, that whatever we write here, whatever the whatever the variables we declare, we call it a member, and whatever the functions and methods we write here inside the class, we call it a member function or or member methods. So in this case, let me write here. My string s is a member of the logic class. This calculate my age is a member method of this logic class. This member function of the logic class. This Soumya solution and Ranjita solution, both are the member methods of this logic class. Okay. So whatever you write inside the class is ultimately a member. Then after a different types, where it can be either a function or a method or just a member. Okay, so let's see that again. Let's move further. So every data type and type member have an accessibility level which controls whether they can be used from other code in your assembly or other assemblies. Luckily I have the example ready here, so that's good. Now this public private, I have mentioned the public with this only with my function only. So I can access this calculate my age at any page or in this application. If I create a new class file as well as what I have created here, now you can see logic.calculate. Come on, yeah, what happened? Oh, it's need a function something. Okay. Okay. So I can use this logic.calculate my age at anywhere, whether I am in a program file, sorry, program class or a ABC class. But I cannot use see I am not able to use Somya solution here. It will give me the error. Why? Because it's not allowed to access outside this class file. Outside this logic class I cannot use this function. I can use inside this, like I can use it here. I can use in my function as well, but I cannot use it outside this class file. Why? Because it does not allow you. It doesn't have a accessibility. If I make it as a protected one, so by default default access specifier for any class or any not any class, for any function and method is the private one. These are the private. This is the private string. This is the private function. Sorry, private method. Uh, both Ranjita and Soumya solution both. I made this as a public one. Okay. So let's see that if I can access this by this way as well. See, I'm not able to use it. But if I make it a public, Soumya, na? Then you can see error is gone. I can use it now and it will give me the result as well. So this is the thing. By similarly, we have another access modifiers as well, protected. To use the protected one, I need to inherit this class. Let me inherit to this ABC. And now let's see whether I have made it as a protected. Okay. So let's see that whether I will be allowed now or not. Yes, I am able to use the Soumya solution here, but unfortunately I am not able to use the Soumya solution into my program class. I am allowed to use in ABC class but not in a program class. Okay. So similarly we have two more access modifiers. Internal means I can access this data within this Ishan console project only. Suppose tomorrow if I create any new project, sorry, So now now in my solution I have two projects, two different projects. One is console app 1 and another one is Ishan console, as there where we are working. So if I put a internal, if I use the internal specifier, then I can use it only up to Ishan console only. I cannot take it outside of the project. Public only allows me to take it outside. Private, obviously, you cannot go out of your class. And there is one more access specifier is there, is the protected internal. So similarly, protected internal means what? As what the protected has done. Internal means you can go within the inside, but using the protected internal, you can take it outside the assembly, but yes, you need to inherit the class. Do you want me to show that as well, or is it understood? I believe it's not needed to show. So this PPT will be shared to you later on, so you guys can read and then can practice accordingly. Now the constructor. So constructor is again a member function of a class that is used to initialize the objects, or can say your variables, or can say fields. Variable is also known as a fields. So don't get confused by the variable, fields, member, all these are the same thing. Okay. So how the constructor is used? Okay, leave it. Here, this public ABC is a constructor. Like in main, like in class program, I didn't have any constructor. I didn't created any constructor. Every class has a default constructor, whether you create or not. Sometimes you need to create it, sometimes you won't create, then it will be automatically created at the backend that you cannot see. Okay. So yeah, in this ABC class I had created the constructor. It is actually used to initialize your members, or can say your fields. Actually, this whatever you have assigned this string d is equal to some value. So actually it assigns here when the class is runs. Then after it will decide that string that the d variable has to assign this value. Right now you are just declaring here, but when the class runs, then after it will initialize the values to their objects. Till then not. So this is so whatever the actual scenario is, like when the class runs, it will take as a string like this way, and then after like this way. So constructor initialize the value as I told earlier. So this is also the correct way. The earlier what I have written was also the correct method. Or in fact, you can write the both. But the value of d would be set as a fj only instead of fg, df, or whatever I have written it above. So the final value of the d will be this only, no matter whatever you do. Okay. So there are some rules to use the constructor. Constructor name must match with the class name, and it cannot have any return type like void or integer or anything. As you can see, I cannot write this as a, like I will start getting error. See, it's build failed because constructor has no return type, and constructor has to match with the class name, and my class name is ABC. If I want to create like this way, then I should put either a void or any kind of data type like a string or anything. Okay. If I put here a void, then it won't be an error. But if I don't want to give any return type, then the class name and the function name would be the same. I can say the construct name must match. You cannot change it. It is called when an object of a class is created. When I write like this way, no matter whatever you have written in the code, whether it's a 1,000 line code or even a 5,000 line code, this will be the first thing that will execute. Whenever I write this line, the first thing will be executed is this one. No matter whatever the code you have written above it or below it, that doesn't matter. First it will execute this one. Okay. Then all class have constructor by default, as I told earlier, that there is a default constructor whether you create it or not. See, but if you don't create any constructor, then you are not allowed to set a value to your members. As like I have shown, suppose as here I have changed the value of d. So if I don't have any constructor, I won't be able to change this data at the time of initializing of class. Later on, yes, with the help of functions and methods, or even by anything else, I can change this data, change this value of d. But using the constructor, I cannot change it if I don't create any constructor manually. Okay. Okay. Just like other methods, constructor can also be overloaded by different number of parameters. This we will see when we go for a method overloading concept. So right now I don't want to show this. Any questions up to here? I guess all these things are repeating for every one of you, right? In Java, all these things are also same. Hmm. Yeah. Sorry, my friends, but we have to go with all these things. Now, properties. I am sure that this is not in the Java. I'm I'm very much sure. Still, I cannot claim that properties are not there in the Java. But as far as my knowledge, or can say the earlier knowledge of the Java, the concept of properties were not there in the Java. Anyways, so what are the properties? Properties are actually an extension of fields, or can say the extension of your variable. Sometimes you need to do that. You need to expose your variable up to a certain limit only, or you need to restrict your variable to change or modify or something like such. So in that way, properties are used. Properties are always with a public access modifier. You cannot use any other specifier with the properties. This I guess I forgot to mention in this slide, but this you can keep it in the mind. So let me show you how the property looks like. Okay, let's take it here only. Okay, I'm removing all these things. Property contains a private member. Hey, come on here. And then I definitely made some blunder here. I'm not sure what I made a problem. Okay, I cannot use this inside the main function. Okay. Otherwise, such things never be a problem. Okay. So, properties actually look like this way, somewhere around. That property can be always a public, but it uses the private member as their access level, and inside it. What it actually does is that, suppose tomorrow, like if I write like this way, not like this. Suppose I create one more variable here, integer I is equal to 0, and I let me make it public. And let me create one more class. Now what I can do that, instead I would better I write into everything. Anyways, better I declare everything into this, because this program can make me a lot of problem, can create a lot of problems for me. I'm not getting anything. What is there is some problem. I'm not getting it. I don't know what is happening here. Better I would take it to the logic part. I hope it will allow me here. Otherwise, you guys, otherwise, sir is exposing with their knowledge in front of you. Hmm. Here it is allowing me. I don't know what the problem with the program one. So here, a dot I is my public integer value, and I can change it to the 1. So the initial value is 0, but now I have changed it to 1. But with the property, I can I can make it restricted 1. If I remove this set, Then this a dot ps, I cannot write like this way. See, it is giving me the red line, red underline. It is giving me the error. So, but if I use the set again, if I keep the set back, then it is allowed. So I hope you guys have heard about the concept of encapsulation, where you need to, encapsulation and abstraction, where you need to expose only that much data that you want to expose, not the everything. So by this way, if I keep this, if I remove the get one, then after I cannot retrieve the data anytime or anywhere. I can only set the value. So for this concept, when you want to restrict your variables only, or can say your members, then you should go with the properties. Okay. So see, they use accessor through which the values can be read, written, or manipulated. So I did the data manipulation with the a.i here. If I want to do more manipulation of the data, then I can write like this: kids. First KDS and then kids. So I can do all these things as much time as I want. But but to restrict, better to use properties. Any question in the properties? If no, then I'm moving further. Okay. So I have designed today's lecture up to here only. So if there is any question, then you guys can ask me. Otherwise, we will see the rest of the things tomorrow. Yes, properties can be declared inside an interface. I believe in today's lecture only the property is the new thing for all of you. Yes, Rahul, I could understand. to, to create an object, can we use where instead of class name? Yes, you can use the where instead of class name. But in C sharp, it is recommended to use the specific data type. So that's why the compiler doesn't get much time to identify. Yeah, Mahita, I could understand that. Only the property is the new thing in the today's lecture. Even yesterday when I was designing this, I was actually thinking to skip all these things, but as it is my duty to explain all the things in the C sharp. So unfortunately, I couldn't skip anything. But I hope that there won't be anything much can say common in further lectures. One more lecture will come, but then after most of the things will be new. Okay, so shall we end? Shall we wrap up for the day? Setters and getters are there Java also. I know setters and getters are in the Java. I know that because as I worked in the API, so I know about the setters and getters. But their concept is somewhat similar, but still different. Same but different. Unfortunately, I'm not getting what is the concept in the Java. Okay, so shall we wind up today? If there is any question, you guys can ask me in the WhatsApp or you guys can mail me. Anything is fine. Okay, and obviously you guys have my number as well. You can call me as well if that is, if that is a big question, then you can definitely ask me. Okay, otherwise we are wrapping up here, and see you tomorrow at the same time at the morning. And I'll see that if I'll get any hands-on for today, so that I'll provide you. Otherwise for tomorrow I will definitely give you some hands-on. Okay, see you for the day. Have a nice day everyone. Bye.